It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, AM 1250. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, and a guy that had one heck of a weekend, it looks like, based on the videos I saw from his time back at LSU. Marcus Spears joining us now. Looked like you had a weekend that might need a day or two to recover from.
It was wonderful, fellas. I ain't gonna even lie. I had a great time. It was everything I needed LSU to be and more. And more importantly, we beat Ole Miss, in case you guys were wondering.
All right, Marcus, I got to ask you, when you go back to LSU, man, you got to be treated like royalty. I mean, do they roll out the red carpet and anything? Hey, whatever Marcus wants, Marcus gets.
Man, they do, man. And I'm always grateful, man. LSU looks out for me every single time. They also, I don't know if you guys know this, because I know you're in San Antonio. It's also the best food in the world. So my intermittent fasting goes out the window when I'm down there, which is the problem. But the hospitality is so good, man, that I keep going back. But nah, it's home, man. I see so many people that had vital roles in me being where I am today. And I'm just always grateful to get back, to be honest with you.
Man, that is
get a W that makes it much sweeter.
Yeah, and that is awesome to hear. And I know there's great food in that New Orleans area, but sometime, man, you need to come back to San Antonio, man. We got some pretty good places to eat here too. But everywhere you go, there's always good food if you know where to go to find it. That's for sure. And guys like us, we like to eat, so we're gonna find some good food.
I got you, man. I got you. I'm gonna have to make my way down there so I can be in studio with you guys at some point.
Oh, that'd be great.
We will make it happen. But honestly, man, if you're coming into town, we ain't staying in studio. We're going to find a great spot to go do the show live somewhere that will give you some of that good food. Absolutely. Swagoo joining us here on the Blitz. I was at the game yesterday up in Dallas, Marcus, so I didn't see the TV broadcast, but talking to Joe and others, in the stadium, it just had one of those weird kind of preseason feel, especially at halftime. It was 6-3. When you're in a game like that, from a player standpoint, you know, Daks shaking off rust, whatever you want to call it, you know, the Lions coming off of a bye. But when you're in a game that just feels like it's stuck in second gear, how do you snap out of that from a player standpoint?
Man, that is when practicing and just the consistency of continuing to do the things that you know works, and you know at some point it'll break for you. And that was actually what I was proud of that team about. I know what Detroit record says, but that's a difficult team to play. They play hard. They got a physical pound and run game, and where you can take advantage at is defensively against their defense most of the time. And then too, man, you couple that with that coming back, so everybody, as weird as it sounds, man, like even with him being back, everybody else around him was trying to feel their way to see where he was. So I think they played a part in it taking a while before they actually got going. What I loved about it was it kind of wasn't much different than what they've been doing with Cooper Rush. The run game, obviously, I got scared as hell when I saw Zeke laying on the ground. But to see him come back, and in the second half, you really put your foot on the gas, defense getting turnovers, making critical plays. But yeah, man, as a team, you just try to kind of, you know what you're good at, you know what you can be successful doing. And throughout the game, too, to your point in the first half, a lot of that is obviously you want to jump out to a big lead and you want everything working. But a lot of that sometimes is gathering information. If it is going to be a second half game, either from an offensive or defensive standpoint where you want to make some plays. So I thought those guys did a good job. Dak was obviously rusty early in that game. He had a couple throws and strip covers that I wasn't excited about, but you do that when you get back excited. Fortunately, it didn't cost them. Detroit didn't want the ball, but it was the age-old vintage Cowboys of the 4-game win streak and even pressing their way to come back against Philly. The run game, play action, and then once that got comfortable, we saw him and Dalton Schultz, we saw that connection start to take hold again. We saw CD get involved. It was what it was supposed to be. And I think with him coming back and finally getting his legs under him, you know now how you want to move forward if you tell him more. But you also know that what you were doing before he got back, it works with him in the lineup, and you just hope it's a little bit more explosive.
You know, Marcus, we were talking the week leading up to this Detroit game, and everybody said, well, Detroit's defense is not very good. It's a good game for Dak to come back. But as a player, how much of an advantage is it to have an off week and have 2 weeks to prepare for a team like the Lions had to prepare for the Cowboys?
It's a huge advantage because you obviously, and not a lot of people talk about this enough, you get to self-scout. You get to figure out the things that you haven't been doing well as the season plays out. So not only do you get a chance to study your opponent a little bit longer, you get an opportunity to put yourself, in your own shoes and see what you would do differently to be a better team. So I think a lot of times when you get these guys on bye weeks or you find out that they're, that you're not as strong in areas that you want to be in, you get a chance to correct those too. And then you're playing. Like we saw Detroit and what they wanted to do. They set in that vein of obviously play action, being physical at the line of scrimmage. And when you get a week of rest on your body, you have an opportunity to, kind of heal up from it's physical, it's fast, you're rejuvenated. You've had an extra look. You've had extra time to let your mind settle down as well. So bye weeks are critical, man. I don't think, but the one thing that I want to drive home, guys, is that I don't think a lot of people pay enough attention to your opportunity to self-scout when you don't have to play a game and you have things on tape which you do well and don't do well.
Well, I'll tell you what, Detroit's defense looked far better than I was expecting. And as we visit with Marcus Spears, now with ESPN, you see him every day on NFL Live and throughout the week on all the shows, but former Cowboys first-round draft pick, you're a defensive lineman. So I got an interesting question for you, Marcus. Everybody is talking about the incredible play Micah Parsons made, tracking down the Lions tight end and tackling him at the 1. What was more impressive to you, that play that Micah made, or Tank Lawrence on the next play, beating the offensive lineman, shedding the block from the fullback, and then causing the fumble all in one play down at the 1-yard line?
Brother, it was Tank Lawrence's play. Now, Micah, man, for that guy to be able to move that fast, I think we know it, but it's still amazing when it actually happens. And you see him fully open up and run. Like, you're just not supposed to be able to do that, man, at that size. But Tank's play on that goal line, after Micah gave them an opportunity to be in that situation with a stunt through the line of scrimmage and really, like you said, causing the fumble, I thought that to me was the play that changed the game. And kind of reminded Dallas, yep, let's go. This team is not on par with us. We played around a little bit too long, and that's another thing. So I don't think DeMarcus Lawrence gets enough credit for how he impacts games, because in his position, we look at sacks so much and we put so much attention on getting to the quarterback, which rightfully so. That's why they get $100 million contracts. But his run defense is elite this year. It's as good as a lot of the top defensive tackles. And that's something that people have talked about his game. And I know we get enamored talking about Micah and all of the feats and the things that he's doing. And credit to this entire defensive line, because a lot of guys are stepping up. But Tank has been as good against the run as Micah has been as going after the pass.
That's great. And big win, obviously, and the Cowboys now 5-2, but they still sit in third place. and I bring that up. Marcus, only because the NFC East is the best division in football right now. So as the Cowboys move forward and they see the way the Giants are playing, the way the Eagles are playing, and I heard somebody today say that Washington might be the best 2-5 team in the league. I'm not sure if that's right, but when you know the pressure's on week in and week out, does that just add to the focus of your football team?
Absolutely, it does. And also, you know, the reason why it was a great question you just asked, the focus is heightened as well because it's your division. And you know that you still have an opportunity. You got Philly again. You got have we played Washington yet? Maybe not.
Yeah.
I think, guys, I got
Yeah, each one time. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you got opportunities to get each one more time. You can literally change the outcome of the standings by playing games within your division, which is vitally important, as opposed to waiting to see if one of them need to fall or figuring out if they gonna give you a chance to be in the playoffs, or you got to be playing and waiting to see what one of those guys are going to do. The fact that you still got them heightens your level of focus, but also like it's exciting, right? Philly was I think consensus pick this year to win the division. Dallas overcame losing their starting quarterback, went on a 4-game winning streak, and put themselves in position for every game to be important. So for them, I think it's more about like where we have earned ourselves to be based on how we played and what we believed about ourselves as a team. Even when I didn't believe, fellas, I was scared. I thought it was over. I got to admit that. But the fact that they are here and the fact that they have this opportunity to not only be in the division, get a good seed in the playoffs, but the fact that they overcame adversity already.
Mm-hmm. Well,
a lot of these teams in their division haven't really dealt with adversity, which we know comes along with injuries and things like that. So I think Dallas, where they are, if you were to ask them, they would rather be nowhere else but where they are right now.
Marcus Spears joining us here on the Blitz. You can see him every day on NFL Live on ESPN. And I'm curious, with Dan Orlovsky and Laura Rutledge and Mina Kimes on that set every day, the talk today about the play we saw yesterday from Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
My God, man. Listen, it is. I think for Tom, he just is. I think Tom checked out. When he came back, I think he expected this to go another way, obviously. And, your offensive line gets decimated before the season starts. Guys leave and trade, guys retire. So that was already a bad sign. And then you're playing bad on top of that. Tom Brady has a lot going on, fellas. I don't think, we kind of gentle to talking about, like, his focus and where his mind is. But he's doing things that are unconventional to Tom Brady. He's always been uber focused. He's always been the guy that would never leave and miss anything during a football season to go to a wedding. That's fair to talk about when it comes to Tom Brady. So that mixed with the team not playing well, obviously offensive line struggles, it just all is coming to a head at this point. And then defensively, they're bad. Needless to say, the one hope for Tampa is this. They still have a tremendous amount of talent. Now, on Green Bay side, we actually don't know if they're good enough to be elite offensively. We just don't know that because of their receiver situation and the things that and what they haven't been able to do when it comes to making explosive plays. Like, guys, I talked about this today on NFL Live. Going into the fourth quarter of that Washington football game, Aaron Rodgers was 13 for 21 with 81 total yards passing.
Crazy.
Wow.
Aaron Rodgers had 81 yards passing going into a fourth quarter against a defense that we've seen give up a lot in the passing game. That to me is no greater example of where Green Bay is as opposed to what we think they should be.
Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Marcus Spears, MSpears96 on Twitter and on Instagram, and the videos from LSU are worth the go watch there. Great follow on Twitter, and always fun watching you on TV. Marcus Wagyu, man, enjoy your week, recover well, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
Brothers, as always, every week, man, looking forward to it. This is a lot of fun now.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Marcus Spears, former Cowboy first-round draft pick and a superstar at ESPN.